got here is an '09 Lincoln MKX. I think that's what it is. Yeah, MKX. Now that being said, it's the same thing as a Ford Edge. But we got an alternator problem here. I went and the guy provided this alternator to install. I think it's from AutoZone. But that's what the little alternator looks like. And to do this, you need to pull the air box, this top hose, and pull the cooling fan assembly out. Cooling fan assembly on the passenger side, it's got a bolt here, and driver's side, it's got a bolt there. You just unplug that plug. You take this hose off. Now, one of the problems I came across is that this hose clamp is broken. You're supposed to squeeze it together, and then it holds itself, and it's got a spot there that's hanging out and it's broken, and so when I went to take it off, it wouldn't come off properly, it wouldn't lock, and then of course it gouged the hose pretty good. A couple of places the hose has got spots where it kind of gouged into it. Let me look here. Yeah, right there. So probably have to replace the hose too. You know, it kind of sucks, but not much you can do about it. So there you are. Got the box, got that, get a new clamp. Alright, what's the other problem that we got here? Look at this bolt here. This car has had an engine put in from a salvage yard. There is no way that you could put this nut onto the top part of that alternator with vice grips. I suppose there's a way to do it, maybe with one of those easy out grip nut holder things or something, I don't know. Anyway, I got a 7mm and I took it out with a 7mm, took the stud out, and I was lucky to do that. The lower bolt wasn't even tight, so wasn't too happy about any of that, but not much we can do. I'm just glad I got it out. I got a new nut. It's metric. This is probably off of a Honda or something. I just keep any extras that I ever get for situations like this. So as you can see, I moved all out of the way. We have a nice big hole, and it's only to get that alternator out right there. Now, to get the bottom bolt out, I reached under it like this and broke it loose with a small ratchet wrench. And then to unscrew the bolt, which you can see it right there, that's it, it's sticking out, okay? And all I did was just pull it out and rest it right there. You don't have to take that bolt out because that one end of the alternator has a slot in it. If you can see this, well, this one doesn't have a slot, but, well, wait a minute. Yep, I need to rotate it. Okay, well, it's clocked. So that's the top one. It's not clocked so you can see the slot, but that's what everything looks like. The AC line is in the way big time. So everything's got to come out so that it can go this way towards the radiator and clear and come out the top. So I took all the hoses off I could get out. I'll move this hose a little bit up. That hose goes to the reservoir here, okay? But as soon as I get all the bolts out, it's ready to come out right now. And I just wanted to show the stage where it was at and give some folks some ideas about how things look at this stage, which I can't see this either. I'm just kind of holding it so folks can see things. That's what it looked like. Alright, so it turned out to be too close of a fit, so I had to pull this other radiator hose off, the one that goes to the reservoir. I had to get that one out of the way. This is a really tricky spot here. If you don't think you can do this without dinging the radiator, get some cardboard or something and put in front of that. Just have to be real careful, okay? This alternator is going to have to come out past this AC line and clear it, and then roll straight up, in which I think we've got enough space right here. But you got to be careful not to ding that radiator. Put some cardboard in there if you don't trust yourself. Well, there you go. It's out. There's our little slotted side there, which I don't know why they do that, but anyway. And this is what it looks like in there. Of course, my little bolt fell out. I'm going to have to go on the ground and get it. But that's what everything looks like in there. angle a little better. Yeah, that's the bracket where the bolt goes in. On this particular car, that bolt was not tight. I reached down there with my hand and unscrewed it with my fingers. So sometimes you get surprises. But that's what it all looks like down here. It's a tight fit for an alternator. But, you know, in about an hour you can get it out and maybe 30 minutes back in, something like that. This car does not have antifreeze in it. They just got water. Some people don't want antifreeze, so that's the way it is. I think it should have antifreeze. It's made for it. Aluminum motor like this, but not much we can do about it. Okay, so I've got my wrench on it, got the new one in there. There's the head of the articulating ratchet wrench there. I don't know if anybody can see it, but I've got it on and I'm doing it from the bottom. You don't get much of a turn out of it that way. The nut is sort of a semi-locking nut on that alternator, so it's slow going, but that's what it looks like. So just to get an idea about the order of operations here, we want to get the belt on first and then get this hose back on. Okay, and now I'm going to put the wires on here, because once I put this radiator in, it'll be a pretty tight spot. So I'm going to put the wires on next. Alright, so I got the wires all connected on there. And of course the air conditioner wire plugs in right there. Now I disconnected that too. It wasn't that hard to disconnect or put back, but I did it blind. And then the retainer for that wire there, I just had to put a zip tie on it because it was busted off. So that's kind of what it all looks like. Got the hose on, we're ready to go back with the fans. Alright, so I got the fans in there. There's two bolts that hold it in. It's some shorter bolts. There's some bolts that are a little longer that go here on this bracket. They're a little bit longer. They go here in this bracket here. So the shorter ones, you can see the difference. Those go in the radiator fan. Okay, so I got all that tightened down, and I'm going to move this wiring loom back. Now this wiring loom is pretty bad shape. It was not zip tied down or anything, so I'm going to zip it down the way it's supposed to be and get it back in the spot where, because when I opened the hood and just started working on this was just laying just anywhere, just laying there like that. So I'm going to get it in the right spot, put all this stuff on there. Let's get to the next step here. Alright, so I've got everything plugged in. You want to check these connectors, okay? These big ones that go to the fans are pretty tight. I didn't unplug these, but I like to check them because that's a smart thing to do. That one, that stock retainer is good. And when you cut these off, when you position these zip ties, make them so that they're not sticking out, okay? Make them so that they're turned a little bit. So when you cut them off, they're not facing towards you, because you're going to work on this one day and go across that place where you cut it off, and it's going to rip you wide open. I like to use these Klein scissors, Klein 2100-7s, Klein scissors to cut off these. In here, do it left-handed, but they cut off pretty good with the Kleins. So let me get it to the next step here. I'm going to try to show popping this clamp loose here, because this one here is clipped in. Try to show popping it loose. It's kind of hard to get it. There we go. That's it. You get into it and it wants to move on you. So if it needs to move some, you can get it with some pliers, little pliers like these or something, and move it around some. But usually when you pop those, they like to move. So sorry about being upside down, but there it is. It's in a pretty good spot. That's how we want it. The other one, the other side is busted. I'm going to have to reuse this hose for now. It's too late to go get one. We need to get it back running, so I'm going to get a clamp and put that on there and get it to the next step. Alright, so we got that clamped on there with some hoopty ass clamp that I dug out of nowhere. Anyway, we got a couple of wires to connect. We got this vacuum line that goes to the power brake booster. Need to put this guy on here for the throttle body, and we'll have one PVC hose that goes here. So let's get some of these things all in the right spot here and have a look. Alright, so let's have a look. Got our PVC line on, it clicks in easy. Booster line right here. Got the airbox cover, clicked in, it's got 3 tabs. You want to put this on first, put it together, and then put this hose on. Okay, put that on afterwards. You can probably try to put it on beforehand and all together, but that's fine if you want. But this is a little bit more of a step, and it's a little easier. Now this little guy here, mass airflow sensor, click that little guy on. I like to have a nice long extension, 1/4 inch drive, to tighten them guys up. Just don't over tighten them, because once they click, you're having a bad day. It's no good, it's junk. You'll be stuck putting a zip tie on it and have to order a big old huge clamp like this from the dealer or something. So just be careful with these clamps. They'll get fragile. Alright, well that's the extent of this video. Most people don't stay this long, but you know, sometimes you get the surprises. So there we are. Well, I'll have to fix this. It's supposed to go on there like this from the factory, and it's just a mess. This car has a wiring mess. Look at that. Somebody just busted that injector plug all up and just stuck it on there like that. So it's going to need some more work. Somebody had this wire here, had this other wire spliced in, and they just put some tape on it. You know, so I had to fix it. It's going to need some convoluted tubing. It's going to need to be taped, and all this convoluted tubing's fall apart. So all the little connectors are busted. So this is a junkyard motor. This is what it looks like when somebody throws something together and they really don't know what they're doing. So take it easy. Bye.